Klepper's Corner, today in Weird History, July 8th. Welcome back to Klepper's Corner, the only history show where the weirder it gets, the more accurate it probably is. Today we're diving into July 8th, a day so jam-packed with absurdity, mystery, and questionable decisions that it makes Florida Man look like a National Geographic documentary. This is the kind of day that proves history isn't just written by the victors, it's often scribbled on the bathroom walls of a dive bar with a half-broken Sharpie. Segment 1, the last bare-knuckle brawl, Sullivan vs. Kilrain, 1889. Ah, yes, July 8th, 1889. A simpler time when men were men, whiskey was Gatorade, and boxing matches lasted longer than most modern marriages. John L. Sullivan took on Jake Kilrain in what would become the final bare-knuckle heavyweight championship under London prize ring rules, also known as two guys beating the stuffing out of each other until someone dies or gives up. 75 rounds, 2 hours and 16 minutes in 104-degree Mississippi heat. This wasn't a sporting event. It was a heat stroke-fueled endurance test with minor punching. Kilrain's strategy? Hit Sullivan, then immediately fall down like he was trying to activate the cheat code for a nap. Sullivan, meanwhile, was vomiting whiskey in round 44. Yes, vomiting, because in the 19th century, nothing says optimal athletic recovery like brandy and raw defiance. Thousands traveled by train to this illegal fight. The local sheriff filed a formal protest, then watched the whole match while eating popcorn. That's the legal equivalent of telling your kids not to throw parties while texting, "Make sure the DJ plays Old Town Road." By round 76, Kilrain's corner threw in the sponge, which was the Victorian version of tapping out, or realizing your guy might actually die. Post-fight, Sullivan got a $500 fine, and Kilrain got 2 months in jail and lifetime bragging rights in the nursing home. Segment 2, the death of Soapy Smith, 1898. Soapy Smith. The name alone sounds like a dish soap mascot. But this guy was less cleans up grease and more cleans out wallets. Jefferson Randolph Smith, aka Soapy, ran scams across the Wild West, most notably his soap racket, where he'd hide money in bars of soap and sell them to gullible citizens. If you're wondering what kind of person falls for that, just remember QAnon exists. Soapy's reign ended on July 8, 1898, in a classic Old West shootout on Juneau Wharf in Skagway, Alaska. The man who shot him? A civil engineer named Frank Reed, because nothing says frontier justice like a guy who usually builds bridges deciding to burn one instead. Reed died from his wounds too, proving once again that in the Old West, everyone's last words were probably, oops. And get this, every July 8th, there's a Soapy Smith wake in Skagway, complete with costume contests and charity gambling. Because if there's anything Americans love more than justice, it's glorifying criminals with themed parties. Segment 3, Justice or Just a Target? The execution of Joe Hill, 1914. Now let's get political. Joe Hill, a radical labor activist and songwriter, was convicted of murder on July 8, 1914. The evidence? Paper thin. The motive? Mostly vibes. Joe was shot in the chest the night of a grocery store murder. The police said, aha! Joe said that was a jealous lover. The jury, comprised of conservative Utahns, aka the state's Republican National Convention, sentenced him to death. The next year, Hill was executed by firing squad. But not before he dropped one of the most iconic last words in activist history. Don't mourn, organize. That's right. He basically invented the protester mic drop. Today, Joe Hill is a martyr to the labor movement, a reminder that in America, you can get executed for bad press if you don't come from a trust fund. Segment 4, a slice of glory, the invention of pre-sliced bread, 1928. Weird doesn't always mean violent. Sometimes it just means convenient. On July 8, 1928, pre-sliced bread debuted in Chillicothe, Missouri, and the world has been buttering up progress ever since. Before this, bread came in the form of dense loaves that made sandwich making a full-contact sport. Then came Otto Rohwedder, the Elon Musk of carbohydrates, who gave us mechanical slicing. Housewives rejoiced. Toasters finally had a reason to exist, and America discovered a love for carbs so deep it became cultural doctrine. And let's be honest, any invention that leads to peanut butter and jelly sandwiches deserves a holiday. Segment 5, Aliens Among Us, the Roswell Incident, 1947. Ah, yes, Roswell. The day America officially launched its conspiracy industrial complex. On July 8, 1947, the Roswell Army Airfield released a statement that they'd recovered a flying disc. The next day, they walked it back faster than a politician caught Venmoing lobbyists. Oops, they said, it was just a weather balloon. And with that, the UFO conspiracy movement was born. Turns out it wasn't aliens, it was Project Mogul, a secret military effort to detect Soviet nuclear tests. But when you mix secrecy with a splash of incompetence and throw it into a Cold War blender, you get little green men with a publicist. Roswell became the Area 51 of the mind. Proof that when you tell Americans there's nothing to see here, they will absolutely build a theme park around it. Segment 6, the resurrection of John Paul Jones. Imagine dying a hero and then chilling underground for 113 years until someone goes, hey, we should probably go get that guy. On July 8, 1905, Revolutionary War hero John Paul Jones was found in a Paris cemetery, preserved like a revolutionary jerky stick. His body was shipped to the U.S. Naval Academy, where it still lies today, because nothing says patriotism like digging up your war heroes and giving them a better zip code. France was like, you lost them for a century, but sure, take them back. America, where even the dead get posthumous promotions. Segment 7, the All-Star game that tied itself in knots. And finally, July 8, 2002, the MLB All-Star game ended in a tie. A tie, like your cousin's awkward prom date. After 11 innings, both teams ran out of pitchers, so Bud Selig, baseball's human shrug emoji, called the game. Fans booed, commentators exploded. America realized even baseball can be too polite to finish. They had to change the rules because of this. That's right, one tie turned into winner gets home field advantage in the World Series, which is a little like flipping a coin to decide who gets the top bunk in prison. In conclusion, a day so weird, it needs a helmet. There you have it. July 8th, a day that gave us everything from whiskey-chugging boxers and soap-selling gangsters to pre-sliced bread and preserved patriots. It's a reminder that history isn't just kings, wars, and treaties. Sometimes it's a vomit-soaked boxing ring, a flying disc that wasn't, or the blessed invention that made grilled cheese possible. So the next time someone tells you history is boring, hand them a loaf of sliced bread, whisper Roswell, and punch them gently in the liver like John L. Sullivan.